a 19-year-old student lost his entire tuition fund in 10 minutes.
I am not dead!
Because of a single urgent DM about a new coin launch.
It's a really smart decision, young man.
It's 2026, and the scams are getting smarter than the investors.
But Grandma said I could use this money to buy whatever I want.
Okay.
You're listening to What's Up in Crypto, the show that turns crypto confusion into clarity. I'm Potter, and in this episode, we're figuring out how to navigate the crypto market without breaking the bank.
Show me the money!
To help us figure out how to actually trade in this mysterious crypto market, we're going to be joined by Elior,
Well, that's fantastic.
a crypto artist and trader. We're going to ask him exactly what strategies he uses to stay profitable, avoid scams, and how we can apply them to our own day-to-day trades.
If I ever become rich, I won't tell anyone, but there will be signs.
What's up in crypto, 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 crypto?
What's up in crypto?
So, let's talk about that urgent DM, where the student lost his tuition trying to get rich quick. In the crypto world, this is what experts call a pump and dump scam. Basically, scammers hype up a totally worthless new coin to get you to buy in, which pumps up the price, and then they immediately cash out or dump their shares, leaving you holding the bag with absolutely nothing. If you think you're too smart for this, think again. The numbers are frankly terrifying. According to the 2026 Chainalysis Crypto Scam Report, an unbelievable $17 billion was stolen from investors in 2025 alone. And the reason it's getting so much worse? Artificial intelligence. That same report showed a staggering 1,400% growth in AI-enabled impersonation scams. Scammers aren't just sending poorly spelled emails anymore. They're using AI to generate urgent alerts and impersonate people so perfectly that it looks like highly legitimate advice. They intentionally manipulate, manufacture, or fake an emergency so that you panic, experience that fear of missing out, and hand over your money before you've had a single second to stop and think. That's where they want you caught, in that mindset of getting rich quick, that you might miss an opportunity. And what's their mindset? To rob you blind and pad their pockets. And these are just some of the fears that keep most from even trying to invest in crypto. But don't take my word on it. Let's listen to what the people have to say. So let me ask you a question. Why do you hesitate to invest your savings in cryptocurrency?
I feel like there's no safety nets.
I'm just really scared to invest my money in crypto, and AI is making everything crazy.
A lot of people say it's unsafe and it's volatile and it's kind of wild. Personally, I haven't invested anything in crypto because I don't know how crypto works.
I do not invest in crypto just because I am not so knowledgeable in the field of crypto, and I'd rather not mess with money in areas where I am not knowledgeable. But if I were to learn more about it, it's something I could definitely be curious about.
I have no problem to answer that, but I have no idea how the fuck to answer because I don't know anything about crypto.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
What's up in crypto, 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 crypto?
What's up in crypto?
Welcome to the studio, Elior. Thank you for joining us, and I'm glad you could make it.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited for this discussion.
So what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is we have a lot to learn today, so we're just going to dive right in. And let's start out with the first question. And my first question for you is, how do you balance the temptation of fast daily trading with long-term holding strategies in today's market? And you can also elaborate like which one you think is better or worse.
Yeah, that's a great question, actually. I feel like the temptation a lot of times is to buy and sell very quickly. And most of the time that's usually a good option because the crypto market is a very fast moving market. You constantly have different narratives that are changing and evolving over time. But there's also some great long hold options such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. These are your more solid, battle-tested tokens that have a real function and utility in the crypto ecosystem.
So you would say there's not one clean rule for every coin, whether it's Ethereum or crypto or Bitcoin. Like, it matters on what you're trading.
It's a case-by-case basis. Just like you can't say, like, with stocks, there's one clean way to trade. There's some people that will hold a stock for a long period of time. And some people are swing traders, and there's people that are every millisecond trading the ups and downs of the market. There's really a different way of trading for every individual person. Personally, I'm more of a swing trader. Every so often, I'll have a trade that I'll get in and out very quickly. An example of that is very recently. So I follow a lot of stuff that goes down on Twitter because not a lot of people know this, but Twitter has a very big effect on the crypto market. It's kind of it's like the town square for a lot of the crypto trading. I mean, so obviously you'll have different platforms. Some of it happens on Reddit and all this stuff, but most of the organizing that happens and the discussion happens on Twitter. And so very recently, Elon, the founder of Pump Fun, which is one of the largest token creation platforms, very, notorious for making meme. They basically made creating a coin so easy that it really incentivized and popularized the whole meme coin frenzy that we saw very recently. And so I saw that the creator of this platform posted something that he shared that had to do with something to do with a hantavirus, trying to sort of popularize trading based off of news events, kind of trying to take away market share from like Polymarket and all these other platforms. I personally don't really believe in that narrative, but because I was so early to the tweet, I very quickly doubled my money. So I put in like $500 and I made $500
Nice.
in a matter of like 20 minutes. So that's something that doesn't really happen in a lot of places. It's very, very crypto, something that really mostly happens in crypto. But you can hear my story, and a lot of people will be like, "Oh my God, you can make this quick money and all this," and they'll start to put their life savings into crypto. And I recommend against that totally, especially if you don't know what you're doing. Like the vast majority of people lose money in crypto and don't really have any understanding of it, which is why I think it's great that you're doing this podcast.
And that's what I was going to hit on next, is that it sounds like you have more experience than the average Joe, and the opportunity you saw, you knew how to strategically take it, not to just dump your money in and hope for the best. And that actually leads me to the next question, and that's, how can a beginner distinguish a legitimate crypto opportunity from a highly sophisticated AI scam? So, like, have you run into any kind of AI scams, or do you have a way to mitigate from being caught in that trap?
Yeah, it's something that's unfortunately all too common. Something that many people don't really understand about crypto is it's a completely decentralized market. It's very much the Wild West.
Right.
It's
and decentralized, you mean there's like no governing body
it's
watching
fully,
over?
Yeah, it's fully peer-to-peer. Nothing can stop a transaction from happening. Once it's happened, it's in the blockchain. It's set in stone, which, it has its positives, of course, but it also has its negatives, meaning that it's a lot harder to enforce any sort of rules. And so, of course, you'll have bad actors that take advantage of this. And, there are certain websites that you can use. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but there's several different websites that you can use where you can put in the token, and it'll tell you if it's a token that is, that might be, a rug, not necessarily a rug pull, but like that's suspicious. So there's something suspicious about that token. Okay, so I recommend using those sorts of websites. For me, I guess there's not really just one thing that stands out to me. I've been in the market long enough to really be able to tell apart the scams and the AI from anything that's sort of legitimate. Also, a big thing for me is because I have created this following in crypto and I follow a lot of the right people. I understand, like if there's a account that has a lot of followers, but I don't see anyone that I know following it. It's very safe for me to assume that there's a bunch of bots following it because the people that I follow are real people.
So there is a community around crypto, and
Yes.
you should take the time to get to know the community before investing.
Yes, it's the most important thing. Something that's it's not particular to crypto, but it's very, very important in crypto is this idea of attention. The attention economy is sort of what runs the world of crypto. If you understand where attention is going to be, you can position yourself earlier than other people.
Okay.
And you see this in a lot of the investments that I take. I don't have a math background. I'm not a finance guru or genius by any means.
Right.
But a lot of it is really understanding narratives and the stories that we tell ourselves, and seeing those trends before they get, really they catch a lot of momentum. And so I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
No, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
I think it's very valuable to understand like what's actually happening, because I think a lot of people see the idea of making money and they just want to jump in and start making money, and it's just like anything. Like you have to learn the players of the game, you have to learn the influencers, you have to learn how to make the money, not just in an idea but in a tangible physical way.
Yeah, in anything that you invest in, anything at all, you have to know it. This is something that I live by. If I'm going to put my money into something, I have to know it better than 90% of people. If I don't understand that thing, that's why I don't buy real estate or watches or any of these other things. People are buying Birkin bags and this and that and putting their money in all different places and stocks. And if I'm going to buy a particular stock, I need to know that stock better than 90% of people.
So, question for you then. In knowing the atmosphere, the community, the social aspects of trading and crypto, have you ever been tempted or caught in a moment of FOMO where a message would come through or, supposedly legitimate advice to make a trade? Have you ever been in one where you had to restrain yourself or pull back?
Yeah, all the time. That's why, it's kind of become at this point, because I've been battle tested. At this point, that's my first instinct is suspicion. That's the most important thing. The first thing I do is I verify, I check everything, and if everything clears out, then I buy. Even if it feels like in the moment you have to buy right now, you can always wait 5 minutes to verify everything, to make sure that it's legit, and then position yourself accordingly.
That's sound
So,
advice.
yeah.
And you had mentioned previously about knowing what you're investing in, and we just talked about knowing how to manage the temptations of FOMO that come through. So is there a technical or social red flag? You'd mentioned one about there being a trade option, and then you didn't know anybody that was in there.
Yeah.
Is there anything else majorly technical or red flag or things that we can look for to know it's a bad trade or that it's a good trade?
Yes. Okay, well, this is not specifically about trades, but in general, something that's very important is when you have a wallet, you shouldn't connect it to any suspicious websites that you don't fully trust. And that's the most important rule in crypto.
Okay.
Because nothing can happen to you or your wallet if you don't connect to any sites that are suspicious. A lot of times you'll see people, you'll want to click a link, and it's not just the fact of clicking a link that's dangerous, although you shouldn't go around clicking random links in general.
Yeah,
But
true.
it's the fact of connecting your wallet to a site and giving it access.
No, I've heard it's with the crypto wallets. I've actually got into AI and actually created a few of my own crypto wallets. It was quite interesting. But I've been told whoever owns the key owns the wallet.
Yes, that's the most important thing. Not your. They say not your keys, not your crypto. That's a very important thing. And And that's why I don't like a lot of these exchanges, Coinbase, whether it be, I don't care if you have it on Robinhood, whatever. Because
hang on real quick, exchanges, you mean like platform-based trading opportunities versus?
It depends. It depends. So there's two things in crypto, okay? There's custody and there's self-custody, okay?
Okay.
Custody is a lot of these exchange platforms, like you have Coinbase, Kraken, Crypto.com, you name it. A lot of these platforms, and a lot of them, they're very legit. There's nothing inherently wrong with them, but you don't own the crypto directly. And for me, that's kind of against the whole point. The whole point of crypto is owning your key and owning your assets physically, or not necessarily physically, but owning your assets.
The rights over them. The government can't lock you out. The bank can't lock you out.
They can't lock you out. No one can touch it because it's fully yours. That's why I love self-custody wallets like Phantom. I'm a big fan of them. But there's a lot of different ones like MetaMask, and even Coinbase has a self-custody wallet called Base. So any of these are great options if you want to really be fully in control of your tokens. But sometimes people like the platforms because they do offer another layer of, a guardianship over the assets. It's kind of like a crypto bank, but if you ask me, that defeats the whole purpose.
Right. No, and I fully agree with that. And then one more question. We'll wrap it up on this question is, if a college student only has a small amount of money to invest in zero experience, what is the absolutely safest first step that they can take to ensure that when they enter the crypto market, they don't end up in like a pump and dump scam, or they don't end up losing their shirt off their back? Basically, quick advice for beginners.
Well, first of all, obviously, crypto is very risky. Now that you can, obviously with risk comes reward. I started with $100 and, I traded to a six-figure portfolio, which is crazy. It doesn't really happen anywhere else. But I don't recommend investing any money that you can't afford to lose. And also, the best investment is knowledge. The best investment is taking the time out of your day to understand as much as possible as to what it is you're investing in. And if there's one thing to take away, it's you have to understand something better than 90% of people to invest in it. That's the key.
And I really like that. And I think it goes back to how most things work in life. And it's, if you don't put in the work, you're not going to get paid out. And you always have the unicorns who might hit a little bit here or there, or they tell some epic story. But for the mass majority of people, if you're not investing the time and the energy to learn, how are you going to get anything back? It's just not how it works.
Exactly.
But thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your time and your words. We'll wrap it up for now.
You're the best. Appreciate it, man. I'd love to come back on at some point as well.
Yeah, I'll keep you posted.
There's so much more to say. But
I'll keep you posted. So I think my biggest takeaway from today's show is that FOMO, the fear of missing out, it's a scammer's best friend. If an investment feels like an emergency, something that you have to do right now, it can't wait till tomorrow. It's something that's going to make you rich quick and make all your biggest dreams come true overnight. It's probably a trap. It's probably a scam, and as my mother always says, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. So do your research, take your time, ask the right questions, and invest your money wisely. Well, that's it for today, folks. Thank you for tuning in to What's Up in Crypto. Make sure to follow, like, and subscribe. And join us next week as we sift through the world of crypto coin, understanding the different types and whether you should or should not trade them. Until then, this is Potter, your crypto trading guide, signing off.
One bad click and the cash was gone quick. He swore it was an easy play. Saw the green and it